Gotta get up.
That's pretty good. That's fun. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you.
Good job, by the way.
Thank you. What's up, everyone? We are the Fitness League, coming to you live from CrossFit Union Square. Yeah, let's hold on to that. My name is Andre Cruz. I am a coach here at CrossFit Union Square. We'll go around. Everyone, introduce yourselves.
Hey guys, Christian Espinal, head coach at CrossFit Union Square. Happy to be here.
Julio, the barber whisperer, coach, trainer, and just human being.
Mike, J2 Human Performance. What do I do? Oh, barbell, weightlifting, and just general badassery. Even though I deadlift 300 pounds.
This guy is blushing.
I just worked out. I'm so hot.
I got to follow this up. And I'm Coach Mike Barbeau from J2 Fit. I'm the head weightlifting coach. Thank you very much.
The mics is what we call them.
Cool.
And we tag team barbells.
Oh, and we'd like to thank our sponsors. Reebok One. We'd like to thank CrossFit Union Square. We'd like to thank
Fireline.
Leo's mother.
My mother.
Great genetics.
Thanks, Mom. Good fight.
Right, so this is our first podcast that we're doing. So to start, we just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a flavor of who we are. So each of us today have come up with a hot topic that we're going to talk about, and then the rest of us are just going to make fun of them and say, yeah, that sucks or that's good. So I'm going to start with mine. Mine is fitness. Oh, we're on a timer? I can't start yet. Because
That's a
we're on a
delay.
timer.
I'm not used to that delay.
5 seconds.
It'll be informative, but you know.
And for time, ready? And go.
It didn't make any noise. Oh, that was very undramatic. So I want to talk about how fitness starts at home. So lifting weights is awesome. Everyone loves to do it. Running's cool, biking's cool, rowing's cool, swimming's cool. But I want to talk about how fitness all starts at home. If you don't have a strong foundation of nutrition and proper rest, your body is never going to perform anywhere near the peak levels that it could. Think about your body like a high-performance vehicle. Let's say that you are a race car. If you leave your car on for 24 hours, do you think it's going to be able to go as fast as it could? Do you think it's going to be able to perform optimally? Under the same token, do you think that if you're putting corn oil into your machine versus that castrol synthetic, what you need to go in there, your body's just not going to perform the way that it should. So I'm a big proponent of sleeping 7 to 8 hours or more if you physically can. And when it comes to eating, there are a lot of foods of thought. There's paleo, there's the zone, there's everything that's crazy. But in general, if you try to just stick to eating actual food, things that came from an animal or from a plant, and kind of stick to that. Don't get too caught up in anything crazy. I eat bread from time to time. What's that? Cocaine? Protein powder is fine. But try to get as close to its natural form as you should when consuming your food. And in general, try to create well-balanced meals that have a balance of protein, carbs, and fat. Obviously, if you're going to be doing a lot of fitness, a lot of cardiovascular work, you might want to increase your carbs. But in general, you should have a relatively high protein diet, moderate in fat, and moderate in carbs.
So I got a question for you.
No.
What's your take on the new? There's a big research, or not research, bogus.
This is whale blubber shit again?
No.
This guy's he's been obsessed with whale blubber.
Whale blubber. Check it out. Eskimos eat it. Yeah, but I think this guy knows whale blubber a different way.
I mean, I personally murder all of my food before I eat it.
I'm actually, until we I'm going back to the Midwest to go hunting. So
Strangle.
we're gonna start mail order service for duck and
Mail order,
game.
brother.
So go to our Instagram page and tag us.
So yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that in terms of diet, you have to stick to proteins and carbs.
Sure.
And be realistic about what you're eating in terms of activity level to what you consume.
Sure.
And you to be, responsible, do your research. If you constantly buy a meat from X, Y, and Z place, Google it.
Yeah.
Google means 1 and 100 zeros after. That's how much information you have on the web.
Yeah, but it also goes, you're trying to have people understand that it does start at home, and that's making your conscious decision of where you're getting your food from and what kind of quality food you eat.
We overthink a lot of this nowadays. I think at the end of the day, just make decisions. Just eat some good quality meats. I mean, you can be super anal about how you eat your food, and it'll ruin your day. It's exhausting. It's immensely emotionally exhausting. Honestly, it's exhausting. So I think at the end of the day, just if you're not trying to compete on stage, like as an aesthetic athlete, and your objective is to move well, and you make good decisions, eat good food, and you'll be all right.
Yeah. At the end of the day, don't eat like an asshole. You should never feel like shit when you eat.
Yeah.
You should feel good. You should be like, oh, that was good.
Don't
You
hate
should be like
yourself.
that Ferrari.
Yeah.
Don't hate yourself after a meal.
You should not have remorse.
I hate myself after donuts.
It shouldn't be that feeling of, damn, I just messed up. Why'd I eat that?
You shouldn't have to coyote ugly your food.
Yeah.
PFT, post food disgust. I just made that up.
I like it.
It's a thing.
It should have been
Hashtag PFT.
Hashtag PFT.
Hashtag PFT.
Coach
Go
Trey,
ahead.
how would you add in all these snack foods that some people like the sweets and
Yeah,
chocolates?
let's
How would you add
rapid
that
fire.
in
Let's do this.
to the whole
Because I think a lot of
spectrum?
people probably
Snacking?
struggle with the snack foods.
Yeah.
Let's rapid fire your favorite snack food.
Fuck that. No, 10% of your meal should be cheat. That's it. If you
But
eat
when?
3 meals a week, 4 meals can be cheateries. That's how I feel.
Like
Exactly.
rice cakes with peanut butter and jelly.
That's pretty good.
There's protein, there's carbs, there's fat, and there's cheatness. You gotta add that in. That is a macro.
So we're asking, what are we asking? Favorite cheat or favorite?
How would you
snacks?
add
Snacks.
that in? How would you add that into the whole plan of like?
Oh no,
eating well?
I think that you should abide by the rules 80 to 90% of the time and live your life 10 to 20% of the time.
Every time you do a aerosol Donata, you get one item.
That's true. No, I think well actually
For time.
if you do have a cheat meal, it really depends on where your goals are. So for someone like me, I work out an absurd amount of times a day, and my goal right now is to not lose weight. I just want to get stronger and be metabolically fit. So there are times when I have to just pile calories in just because I need them to not shrivel up and be a skinny little baby. I don't want to do that. But if you're someone whose primary goal is weight loss, you can't afford to have multiple cheat meals during the week. I can afford to have a few, and it's really not going to affect the bottom line. Because at the end of the day, I don't really care what I look like. It's all about performance. But if you're someone who is very,
Says
very
the guy
heavy-
who's Jackie Chan.
exactly. But I got to this point by being extremely strict.
Yeah.
You almost have my neck.
Yeah.
Hashtag weird.
Yeah. But no, if you abide by general nutrition 80 to 90% of the time, you can afford to have 10 to 20% of your meals be kind of bad, depending on your goals.
Life's too short to control every single meal. Have a few meals, enjoy it. You know, go out with your lady or your fellow or whoever you go out with.
I like where you're going with. Let's just share.
Like
Quick
what's
snack,
what's a
quick
quick
snack
snack that you go to that like you crave and it might not be the healthiest?
Quick snack would probably be. Sorry, Mike. I'm gonna take the peanut butter. I absolutely.
No,
love
that's
it.
healthy as hell. That's how
But
we
now
eat
we
it.
have it in ginormous amounts.
I just say you work out hard. So when you build it, so that's calories, right?
See, the thing is,
In a day,
I live my life way too much. I
you should follow us
Yellow
on
is
the
hard.
Fitness League 5, and he'll post some of his meals that he makes.
I literally
He keeps Subway,
yeah,
Denny's,
every morning I have a muffin. It's my favorite snack. Generally blueberry.
That's good.
And then at nighttime, I usually have like a single serving container of cereal with milk and like chocolate because I just don't care enough. Like, I just don't care. I mean, I just like aesthetically speaking, it doesn't. I'm not that focused on that. And in terms of how I feel on a day-to-day
What's
basis,
it-
I feel good. I
Carbs and sugar, and you train. I mean, you train really hard. So
I train hardish. My effort is never really.
Or-
Let's transition into that. Let's transition into that. Yeah. Let's talk about training hard.
well, yeah. So let's
Yeah, I mean, I
come
usually.
in the guy that doesn't really train.
I only train hard when there's an objective or a prize at the end of the road. But for the most part, I feel like there's no point. There's very little point coming into the gym and killing yourself today. I mean, one, you increase the chance of injury. Two, that's just pride driving you. And three, more than anything else, there's no way you can sustain like gradual gains for time if you're doing that. You're gonna plateau because you'll feel beat 80% of the time or whatever the case is. So my thing is I like to keep my efforts on a day basis at 80%. And if, let's say for instance, you're one rep back squat at 100 pounds on week 1 and you do 80 pounds that day, and then that's 80% effort, obviously. And then on week 5, you're doing 92 pounds, and that's still 80% effort. Then if your 80% went up, then obviously your 100%'s gone up. So you stay in a safe place in terms of training capacity. You work on technique, you work on your ability to move well, which in the end helps you a lot. And you don't kill yourself. And you can go home, not feel like shit. You can train the next day and still be a badass. And again, I don't want people to lose sight. I mean, you have to be able to tap into that ape shit, mode when need be. Like if it's a competition or you're training with your buddy, or if there's a bet, which I love to do. I love to bet money a lot. If there's a bet or something going on, you've got. Yeah. This guy, he's got owed money. But
no, this guy win the bets.
Yeah, no. But yeah, anyways, you have to be able to tap into that place. In CrossFit, they call it a dark place. I just call it.
I live in a dark place.
I call it 100%.
I think that's definitely a good topic for CrossFitters, especially your weekend warrior who comes in and been crushing their bodies all weekend, bad food, drinking, not sleeping, all that stuff, and then they come in, they give it 100% of the time. They last 2 or 3 days, and then they end up, after a couple of weeks, months, they're injured.
Yeah.
Now,
Not here.
I'm gonna sit like you get an example like Andre, who is in the gym 5-6 times a week, training 2-3 times. Like, do you attack every workout with an 80% effort, or do you go a little bit above that?
I go harder, but I'm also slightly, I'm kind of a freak genetically. I think I have
Goals too, right?
Yeah, and it really, it's goal specific, right? So my goal is I want to eventually make it to the CrossFit Games. So to do extremely well in that league, like you just have to be comfortable living in that dark place, that uncomfortable place. So I try to go there more often than not, but there are definitely workouts. Let's say that I have 6 different pieces of fitness that I have to do on any given day. I might do 3 or 4 of them in that dark place, and then the other 2 I might just get through. Like, because at that point it's just physically and mentally exhausting. And I definitely feel it. Like if I train Monday, Tuesday, those are pretty hard days. But by the time Wednesday comes around, I'm a little bit mentally and physically beat down. So those ones, I'm mentally going into it trying to be at 100%, but physically my output might just be 80%.
See, that's where the science. You look at you look at like the VO2 max, and you have the lactate threshold, or ventilatory threshold, whatever science wants to call it now. So, but you look at it like typically like that break point. That's like your oh shit feeling when you enter the darkness. Your heart rate spikes. You start to accumulate ions in your muscles, and shit hits the fan. That's usually about 80% of somebody's target heart rate. The better trained you are, maybe the higher you are, right? So you're completely right. So, but the question is, so for non-CrossFit dudes trying to adopt a philosophy, which I've been training with you guys, and I have been doing it with a lot of my powerlifting and barbell work, is where do you kind of understand if you never had that 80%, or you don't know your maxes, you don't know what's your end? How do you say, okay, I'm going to train at a 7 or 8 scale? Like, what is that on the subjective scale? What are some things that somebody can take from this? Be like, my breathing pattern's X, my thought pattern's here. Like. I think if you calculate your target heart rate, just go off of that. I mean, but what about even like? Is there a way to simplify it? You know what I mean? Like, if somebody just is moving, just moving for fun, so what do you feel, right? Because like at the 80, like when you enter the dark zone, I like say like blinders come on. You don't see shit over here. You start to not pick up on peripheral noises. You're pretty much in the zone.
Yeah.
So maybe 80% could be I finished my workout. I'm still walking around.
Yeah. Like that maybe a little more like when you get that fiberglass feeling, like when I've done the WOD, like burning, that might be a little higher than normal, so you probably can't dance in there a long time.
Yeah.
The problem is the only way someone who isn't necessarily CrossFit, but the only way you figure that out is by doing it several times. You go by feel. If you're not going to take like numbers to kind of create like an area for yourself, then what you got to do is go by feel, and that requires that you come in and kill it.
Come in and do the work.
Do the work, and then if you do it enough, you'll be like, all right, I know what I can do. I know my work capacity on a general level, and I know that if I do X too fast, I'm gonna kill myself.
How many of you guys write down your workouts?
Everything.
Okay, everything. So when you write it down, wouldn't it be a good idea? Like, okay, this is how I felt.
Oh yeah.
This is, and then you start paying attention to this was the rep scheme that I played with.
I think in the beginning, definitely. I think I should get more advanced.
Somebody go get it?
He's got, go grab your book.
I'll be right there.
He's got his, he programs it daily.
Oh, this is awesome.
Andre, why don't you show the class what you have?
Here we go. So this was on the 3rd of August of this year, and I was supposed to do a 5-rep max back squat. The first thing that I write is feel weak today.
Done.
Feel weak today. So yeah, and I wrote I worked at 335, and I was like hard but okay for today. I was like, I know that I can do more if I'm at 100%. Like today, I'm just not feeling
And for even some of my private clients, I tell them, hey, what do you think made you feel weak?
Yeah.
Did you not eat quality foods the day before? Did you not get enough sleep? Or did you overtrain? You know, and then again, it's
Overtraining, talking about
oh, that's not even going.
my side, we talk about, my thing was like some over-programming, sometimes overcoaching too, and not letting athletes kind of just figure it out. Like, you gotta figure it out. But the biggest thing here, like, I kind of want to just, I was going to leave this one open to the floor, was the idea of over-programming, right? So, and even when I started, you know, in a single session, you try to get in like 8, 12, 10, people are doing all these freaking exercises. Instead of really mastering the core lifts, which in my world is anything with a barbell and body weight, right? And then you start to build off from there. So maybe in a given training session, maybe you're doing 4 to 6 different lifts, and that's about it. And you're better off just increasing the volume of, say, doing squats, doing more squats than this variation, or bicep curls. Instead of doing 20,000 bicep curls, because most people just don't have a solid foundation, do heavy, you know. Yeah, you know, so you're kind of taking 10 minutes of, like, I guess really what, like, I mean, you look at powerlifters, some of their powerlifters, some Olympic weightlifters, strongmen, they're really only doing like a couple of exercises in the training session.
This is also coming from the guy that was like, hey, what else do I do today?
Yeah.
And we had to be like,
chill
dude,
the fuck
So
out.
this goes back to him though, I gotta rest, I gotta meet in 3 days.
So,
But I have that mentality of him, where I want to go.
Yeah.
You know, this is actually.
But what is your guys' take on that? Do you think you can over-program an athlete?
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
Yes, absolutely.
And
You know,
also,
yes.
or even athletes that aren't getting coached, you know, they start off, but okay, you're a beginner. A couple months later, oh, I got the hang of this. I want to do more, and then they end up doing more, and they forget about the basics.
Yeah.
And now it's okay. I'm an expert at this. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then they realize, holy shit, I didn't even get my basics down. I have to go back and become a beginner again. So, yeah, absolutely. Like, if you're not really focusing on dialing in, what you would want to set you said just squatting, pressing.
Well, yeah, I look at like my programming now. Like I'm pretty one-sided on Ollie weightlifting.
Yeah.
And
That's all.
but it's like I look at when I started in Ollies, and I've only really been formally doing it for like 2.5 years,
Yeah.
like every day. And I was doing all kinds of variations of different pulls and blocks and jerks and different shit. And my techniques got really good, but now it's like I have to really just get back to front squatting, and pressing every other day, just bam, bam, bam. You know, so it's like, and I now have to.
It's also goal dependent because you're.
Well, yeah, but I think most people, it's like, would you say even in CrossFit, like if somebody just got better at squatting,
Everything else.
doing weighted pull-ups, and rode a freaking bike into intervals, would they probably have a greater GPP?
That's my Monday workout.
GPP.
Every Monday.
GPP is general preparation.
General physical preparedness. Thank you, Mike. Where are your textbooks, bro?
He just said, yeah. He just said my
For those
Monday.
who don't
I don't have my level 1.
Every Monday.
Every Monday.
Every Monday, 20 minutes at 80% effort, 2 or 3 back squats, 4 or 6 strict pull-ups with weight, and then 6 to 8 calories in the bike. So it's either 2, 4, 6, or 3, 6, 9. And just do it for 20 minutes at a chill pace. Just squat, pull up, and bike. Not that I'm the fittest guy in the world, but I'm pretty fit for an 80% effort.
That's actually unique.
No, I think that's a great thing because when I was playing baseball, like I was training at maximal efforts at almost like 85 to like 95%, and that's like weightlifting, strength and conditioning. But then taking it out to the field where I can live at 85% and be comfortable. Because me as a pitcher, like I gotta throw pitch after pitch at high velocities and throw another one and another one and another one. So being able to live at about 85% is where you hope that your training will let you stay at. So I think being able to get to 85, but also mixing in that 85 and higher is quite important.
So,
Squats,
would you say that you're the pitcher and you're the catcher?
Yeah, baby.
I just run behind, bro.
That would never be a continuing play sport, bro.
Shit, son. Speaking of which,
Man.
what's your background fitness-wise?
Oh yeah.
What sports did you play?
Let's see. I
Dude,
wrestled back in the day for like half a year.
Andres-
Played football.
If you want to
Because he was
see
too
me and
small.
Andre Russell, just comment and say Andre and Julio Russell. I'm gonna tear this guy apart. This guy.
Pretty good.
That's
Pretty
our
good.
other channel.
Fucking
That's not.
No.
Starts with XX.
You must put in your date when you sign in.
So I wrestled for a season. I played football in high school. I did some taekwondo when I was in college, and I did parkour after college. So I got really good at jumping on things and climbing.
Is that why you're always screaming out parkour?
Yeah.
Parkour!
Parkour. Yeah. But I think that's why I'm really good at deadlifting, because my hamstrings got strong as shit from jumping. And like when I first learned how to do a muscle up, it was like I have to get over this building, otherwise I'm gonna fall and hurt myself. That's the best way to learn muscle ups. Don't try it at home, but
Are you saying that you're King Kong because you're climbing buildings?
that is true. Yeah, that got me a wet girl.
True story.
Yeah.
Do you play baseball?
That's how I proposed.
I played Pee Wee football,
I play field hockey too.
and then I have no athletic background. No, I'm just joking. I played baseball and I ran track. I play football and I play baseball and I ran track.
I played every sport, but my focus from 11 to about 21, 22 was les martial arts. So I did taekwondo for 12 to 10 years. I'm a black belt second degree in taekwondo. Did judo for about 6 years, Muay Thai for about 4, got Muay Thai for like 2, and then I did parkour.
Parkour.
And that's basically it. So a lot of fighting. The only dark place I ever went into was during a fight. That was the only time I had to go into a dark place, and even then it wasn't that dark.
The first time you got punched in the face, you go to that dark place.
Well, you can't not be in dark place, otherwise you get your ass beat. And
Knowledge bomb.
so I mean, I always tell people like when they're doing a Metcon, I'm like, yeah, did that hurt? Well, imagine the barbell falling back, bro. Shut up.
Another great topic.
I've never
SQs.
fought. I've never got into a fight, so.
Fight Club.
I'm a lover, baby.
I got in a fight in 8th grade with gloves
I feel like
on,
every human needs
and I
to be
hit him
punched
in
in
his
the
face,
face.
and I gave him a rug burn.
This
Slipped off his face.
Let's do it.
Right now. That's on our next channel.
Oh.
That's our
Fight Club.
next show. Fight Club.
Fight Club Fitness League.
I was ready.
First rule of fitness league.
Talk about
I'm
fitness
also a
league.
really good
Tell
arm
my friends.
wrestler. Just out there, I don't really lose in arm wrestling.
It's because he has short feet.
He's also into
Was that
dancing.
long?
I go dance for a while back in my day.
You saying it because he's Latin, bro?
Yes.
No, because we've seen pictures.
I mean, hey,
That dancing.
I'm actually
That's also on our other side.
I'm better at dancing than I am at fitness.
I think everyone now wants to go to
Fitness
12.
league 60.
369fitness.com.
/ large.
We also sell whale blubber. If you like that paleo stuff.
Actually, let's move on.
Let's translate that into the next topic. What is your biggest fear?
Eating whale blubber.
Is this your topic?
He had mices.
Wait, is this your topic?
Mices.
What is your biggest
Alright, hold on.
fear?
Before you go there, I didn't say what I did.
Okay, go.
I didn't do anything.
He loves.
I
He's a lover.
never played any sport, and I'm super afraid of baseballs. Don't throw a ball at me, I probably won't catch it. Yeah,
Good to
and
know.
I got into CrossFit because somebody recommended it. I started studying nutrition. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this route.
You have to slow pitch him.
Then
So what happened when you have to deal with the like wall balls?
That was a sexual joke.
Scared that was falling down on you?
That was okay.
So you gotta take a slow.
I did not even take.
You're like, yeah, give me that slow pitch.
But yeah, I started studying nutrition. Then I saw you have to take Indian chemistry classes. Never mind. Went into strength and conditioning. Because I had the prerequisites, and then someone was like, "Hey, CrossFit." I was like, whoa, that's the way to go. And I stepped with it. So
Cool. Good call.
yeah, right. Worked out.
And you have your undergrad, right? Next to
Otherwise, yeah, ex-phys and strength and conditioning.
English literature.
Finance.
I'll write a mean paper.
Economics.
Okay,
Who does that?
go for it. Fear. This is cool.
All right, yeah. So my topic, because we were talking about somebody being scared of mice. What is your number one fear when it comes to your fitness? I know for me, because I know, look, I talk to this guy a lot about not being average. Not just like allowing yourself to be just someone average or trying to settle. And I take that like into life as well. But in terms of fitness, like for you, what's a fear?
Getting hurt, I guess.
Okay.
But I think that's also an irrational fear to have. I think it's the same way if you come to the gym and being like, I don't want to get hurt today. That's the same as walking down the street and being like, I hope a bus doesn't hit. I think that's stupid. I think that's stupid.
It's
I think it's
pretty
irrational.
crazy.
I think it's an irrational. I think it is because this is literally how I make money. I sometimes think about like, what would happen if I hurt XYZ, but I think you can't live your life in fear.
Yeah, I think in a way that
especially when
drives you.
training heavy like you do.
Yeah.
Like if you are hesitant at all, like
Yeah. That's a better way to hurt yourself than
yeah, 'cause I mean,
attacking
you're,
it.
you know,
Yeah,
hesitation be skill. Like that's,
Exactly.
That's pretty true.
Um,
Even in like formalized sports.
Yeah, but no, I mean, and so that's why I've gotten smarter about my programming, especially working with, you know, Chris and Julio and even you guys. I've learned a lot about, you know, I can't go full tilt all the time. But I think that's the only, I guess, fear that I have is getting hurt. But I think that I know my body well enough now that I don't think that I will do that. Absolutely.
I actually just I injured my back about 4 months ago. I took some time off of weightlifting. I was actually doing really well in, and when I decided to come back, I started hitting heavy weights. I was hitting about 90% of my maxes after not lifting for 3 months and doing yoga a ton. One of my fears was getting hurt. Yeah, I had never suffered a serious injury, and I've been doing CrossFit a little over 6 years, and 3 herniations, bulging disc, protruding fragment, and I was fucking crushed. I was like, holy shit, like, now what? I couldn't move. There was a couple weeks where I just couldn't get out, you know, couldn't walk normal. Like you guys saw it.
Yeah.
I was fucking walking on crutches.
Yeah, just skateboard out. Real
My little scooter, just scooting around. People started calling me scooter.
Like a scooter.
Yeah, but I mean, that was definitely my fear. I was like, fuck, you know, and then being in that situation, like now what?
Yeah.
But I just learned from it, you know. I'm still getting over it, you know. I'm still kind of like, what if I get hit by a bus, you know?
Yeah.
But it's you just got to deal with it. It's taught me a lot. You learn how to, you know, deal with these issues. You don't take it for granted. I've helped a lot of other people dealing with the same issues, and you just become a lot more aware. Now, you know, I see someone with the same injury, and I'm like, man, what are you guys doing to recover from it? You know.
Well, backtrack. Talk about how you got injured. So you've been in CrossFit for 6 years. How did you? What was the
Reach your high and
the
then what happened?
the straw that broke the camel's
Paint us a story.
So I think I lived a lot in overextension. Anytime I did a lot of overhead stuff.
Yeah.
I knew it. I know I was missing a little bit of range overhead, but it just over time, I guess it started. It's not like it happened in one day.
Right. It's micro.
But again, I think it was that taking that time off, doing a lot of yoga, stretching, not lifting often. And then you were saying something about like synovial fluids and blah blah blah. But I came back, started lifting heavy. I think the week before I got hurt, I was in San Francisco, and I was doing doubles, back squat at 380. My max is like 395, and I came in here one day.
How much you weigh? Like 140?
150. 150.
I thought you said 145, right?
141. Well, 151 is what I about.
150.
So 69 kilos. Bye, Natalie.
Thank you.
69 kilos. And then I came in to the gym one day, no warm up, 275 deadlift. I think I hit that like right before I took some time off. I hit 275 for like a 20 rep max. I came in, no warm up. There's another like competitive guy in here. I'm like, fuck this, I got this, you know. Let the ego go into the way. I went, started, I think I picked up 225 for a warm up, 2-3 times, put it down, put 275. I'm like, I'm gonna wait for the clock to start. 3, 2, 1, go. I put it for 10. This is like half of my 20 rep max. Put it for 10. Put it down, and I'm like, well, that didn't feel too good. And I went for it again. I tried to pick the barbell up off the ground. I'm like, no, it's not going up.
Yeah.
And I kept on with the workout until I started doing some double unders. I felt this sharp pain going on my back, and I stopped. And after that, it was just,
There you go.
you know. So, yeah, just that was definitely my fear. I went through it. Now, I think my fear is honestly. I don't know. I don't think anything. There's this one guy that just joined the gym. His name is Dylan Batter. You guys saw him on our website. That shit is inspiring.
Yeah.
You know. And
He's actually on our
So
social
what
media too.
is?
Yeah.
So why is it? Like why this all big?
I mean, think about it. Like, you know, we take this kind of shit for granted. You get hurt, that's when you're like, oh, now what? You know. But there's always going to be ways to move and to find your potential with whatever it is you have. So. Just fucking give it all you got, or 80% of what you got.
I mean, that's a B in this group.
Yeah.
But I think going back to Chris's, how he got hurt was not warming up, not being smart. He came into it and was like, oh, fuck it, let's go, let's pick heavy shit up off the ground. And I think that's where I learned a lot too. I hurt myself a couple of years ago, and I was doing less volume than I'm doing now, but at that time it was a lot of volume for me. But it was like 3 days in a row, like heavy back squats one day, heavy snatches the next day, heavy deadlifts and handstand push-ups, and on that third round of deadlifts, my back was like, oh, no, Andre, you should have warmed up, you should have stretched. And I think that's something that we all do a lot more of now. We properly warm up, we do a lot of soft tissue work, which keeps that synovial fluid moving. And yeah, you just have to be a smart athlete. I think if you're a smart athlete, then you should not live in fear of hurting yourself.
It's funny, like, I think honestly, I used to be like getting injured, but ever since the adaptive athlete became popular, ever since CrossFit, no longer really is a fear. It's like, there are guys killing it. They don't have some things that I take for granted nowadays. My biggest fear was, and it's happened, is losing. For a long time, like 8, 9 years, I was undefeated in Taekwondo, Judo, and Muay Thai. I was like undefeated, and I was like, actually, I became a really cocky dick. I was like, I used to show up to tournaments, and I would show them not even warm up. I'd be sitting there, whatever, like, what's up, guys? You know, everybody. And I remember one day, it was a tournament, Coolio. It was a tournament. It was like 5. It was very few black belts. I knew every single one I was fighting, and I had won all of them. I've won them in the past, and didn't warm up. I said, fuck it, I beat these guys before. I'm confident I'll win. Didn't stretch anything. I have my gear, like Julio, whatever, and I run up, and I'm like confident as shit. And something happened that day. I froze. Like literally, like I can kick like a fucking princess. I could not kick anything above his hips for some reason. Anyways, that day I lost 21-1, and I literally left that game, that fight, and I was like, I think I cried. And I didn't compete for 5 months, and I competed every weekend for 8 years. I competed for 5 months. It like froze me. It was like, it hit me hard, and I was like, after that day, I was like, I don't know, something happened. And then 5 months later, my friend signed me up for a competition. I went in, I won, I felt good, but then I stopped competing. That's freaking good. Because that fear, my biggest fear was losing, that happened, and it happened really hard. Because the kid I beat, a billion fucking times. I used to embarrass this kid.
I think that goes hand in hand with almost like learning how to fail. Like learning how to fail is important to grow, because you don't know how it feels. Like you said, like that one thing like snapped you out of it for quite some time. And you were on such a high, and you didn't have that feeling. Like for me, when I got hurt, I'm like it knocked me out for a while because I never felt that. I played sports for 16 straight years, and then I was out with like my elbow getting hurt. I was out for a whole year plus. I was like, it's mentally frustrating. It's mentally like it kicks you in the face and you don't know what to do. And it takes some goal in mind, or that self-drive to really push yourself to stay on top of learning about how to actually get better and not let that happen again. And I think it takes a big person to understand failure and actually come back from that.
Well, I follow this guy, Seth Godin. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. So it was recently, he sent something out that said failure is certain, right? So just whether you put out a product or you're in a competition or whatever it is, at one point, either somebody's not like your product, that's a failure, or you lose in a competition, that's failure. So just accepting that, understanding that, just being able to move on, it just makes everything so much easier. So like even for training, you come in, especially newbies come in, I see them in the gym all the time, they don't get a certain movement, they just get fucking frustrated.
And then the whole
screw this.
Thing.
Yeah, and screw this is stupid, I don't even know why I'm trying, and they walk out. It's like, hey, give it time, learn from the experience, and just keep moving.
Yeah, I mean, at regionals a year ago, dude. It was
Do
the
you have a
worst.
link to that?
Yeah, well, no, forget the snatch thing. The snatch thing was that wasn't.
I was gonna share a link in the
Yeah,
subline.
sure. I came back. You can share that link. I came back from that. At regionals, the last workout, I had done it in practice. I killed it in practice, always under like 2 minutes or whatever it was. The workout was like 49 pull-ups and 7 overhead squats at 185. And I remember, like again, practice, I finished it in like under 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes and change. The day of, third day, maybe I wasn't nutrition right, maybe it was the sun, I don't fucking know what it was, but I go out for the workout, every pull-up feels like I'm doing straight pull-ups. So I feel like I did 49 straight pull-ups, and then I get to the overhead squats. I got nowhere up like 4 times. What had took me 2 minutes took me 4 minutes and change, almost 5. I left that conversation like a little bitch. I got back to the gym and I worked on overhead squats with a fucking vengeance. And now it's my favorite move. Like I fucking overhead squat, I can like power jerk and overhead squat, close grip, like 225 for like 10 reps. I think I've done like 265 once. I don't really go heavy that much, but I fucking love it. So like if you do fail or something doesn't go your way, then rise to the occasion and then beat it. And I make sure that you know what it is that you sucked at. If it's overhead squats in my case, then go back and make sure that that never is an issue again. And if you fail enough, you will have taken care of every single possible thing you would suck at, and you'll probably be a phenomenal athlete / human being / you'll get over the fear of failing, blah, 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 blah. So it's something that it's inevitable, it's gonna happen. When it happens, make sure that you're present, you know what it is that you fucked up at, and you embrace it and attack it in a way that it no longer becomes an issue. Or if it is an issue, it's an issue because it's an issue with everyone, not just you.
Yeah.
You know.
And if you're not failing, you probably aren't trying.
True.
Bam.
Science.
Dealer.
Some of them I are.
Vaginal sex.
What is that?
We're talking about fear in fitness,
Brown
not in
people.
personal life.
Brown people.
Oh, if I'm under a squat bar, I don't want to see that right now. What am I afraid of? I guess I'm afraid of
These biceps.
of having those biceps. No, I guess like not reaching. Like as crazy as it sounds, not reaching like your potential. And obviously you don't know your own potential because nobody really does. And it's kind of like you can keep on going. Julio's like, yep, that's exactly what I'm supposed to do. You know, so it's like, and in fitness, it's like it teaches you humility. It teaches you like just to persevere because you're gonna go through periods of like, 6, 8 weeks, maybe a whole year of like minimal progress if you aren't looking for it, right? So it's like, for instance, I've been doing the Oli lifts and my snatches went up like 40 pounds in like 2 years, right? So I remember going right crazy. My clean and jerk has only went up like maybe 10 pounds.
Frustrating. But
It's extremely frustrating, but if I don't understand that, I'm like, you know what, like there is progress, right? My deadlift shot up like fucking 100 pounds in like 2 years.
You're welcome.
Yeah, because I was training 8. So realistically, if I'm pulling like 505 with 80%, what is that? What's that 100%?
560 something.
So I have a 560 now. So.
But the truth is like, and I get into the habit of doing this. I think we all do. We compare ourselves to other athletes, and you want to make sure that you draw a line. Obviously, when you compare, if you do find yourself comparing yourself, do it in such a way that it isn't competitive but inspiring and motivating. Like I come into the gym and I like Andre, I'm taking for instance, he can clean and snatch more than me because he's stronger and he's just better in those movements. I don't come in and be like fuck, like. I failed.
I'm just stronger.
I failed.
You're better at those
I think to myself like, all right, I'm gonna catch up with this motherfucker. Like, I'm gonna surprise him one day. All the technique work is he's like, whoa, where did that come from? So make sure that when you do like Instagram is an amazing tool, but it's also it can be depressing. Like I watch some athletes like that are phenomenal at doing clean and jerks, and all they do is put up clean and jerk videos. And I think to myself, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Like, but it isn't that I'm just doing wrong. It's that they're highlighting the good that they're doing. So again, don't be competitive about it. Just be more like as a target, as a ceiling. Okay, this is where I want to be. This is where I should be. And don't be afraid to learn or take criticism. Like, we were talking about this earlier. Like, everyone's an expert nowadays. Everyone knows everything. No one wants to be a student. Shut the fuck up. Be a student. If someone says X, even if you don't agree, just listen for a second. And don't wait for your turn to respond or talk. Just listen and kind of register it. And then if you have a question, shoot. If you want to fucking be an idiot and fight back, then fight back. But at least let them finish. And be a student for a second. Because this is a lifelong journey in J2 Fit, journey to fitness. It's a journey, it's a lifelong thing, so it's gonna take some time. It's not gonna happen overnight, right?
No, that's
I just plugged that in, bro. I just plugged that in.
That's what it means.
I thought you guys were just like, we're just too fit.
It's Julio too fit, really.
Just too fit.
Julio too fit, but
No, I mean, I
Told
think
you,
it's
it's a journey.
It's a great thing that
It's a journey.
what he has like shown us with his book, because you take down your own notes, but it's for you. It's not about I am so much better than Julio. No, it's
I had that written.
I beat Julio
I
today.
fucked him up.
back in August 27th.
And then, but there's more of like, he won me today. Fuck. It should have been heavier.
Less burpees, more deadlifts.
Going back to, having that fear, dude, I don't want to be 60 and saying, fuck, I should have trained a little bit harder, and maybe I hit a 275.
I get so
It's
many
like-
clients to say that shit.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, like I'm 28. We're all like what, late 20s.
Yeah, late 20.
Late 20, you know, they're like, oh, when you turn 30, it's gonna change. You know, like you're gonna, and I'm like, fuck that. I'll be Jack LaLanne. It might not be as heavy. I'm like, I'm gonna ride this wave as long as I can. Because when I crash, I'm like,
I'm gonna start taking steroids. when I do get to an age where things start to slow down, fuck that noise. I'm gonna start taking steroids.
You can't get it up anymore.
limitless.
5 plates.
Fuck that noise.
Fear.
Well, like I said, my number one fear was being average or letting myself just like settle. Look, I'm not gonna be the best
It's a corn kernel.
at everything. I'm not, but at the same time, I can get better in so many different ways. Not in a way of like CrossFit, whereas like
I
you
brought
want to
that from the Midwest.
be good at like a whole bunch of skill sets. I want to be great at weightlifting. I want to be really good at that, and I know I have to add in more stuff like flexibility, mobility, and stuff like that, and of course gaining strength and speed. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to settle for okay, like I've hit this lift and I'm okay with that. You know, like you said, that goes back to fear. Like it's almost like you settle because you know what, you think you can't go higher. Like I've hit a certain snatch, I've hit a certain clean and jerk, but I know that I can get higher. And if I can't, you know what, time will tell me.
For sure. This guy, he's probably one of the strongest guys, and he's just, he's got bitches around sometimes. The guy's super
I try
strong.
not to talk about it like that.
Super strong. He power cleans to 75. Remember that competition? Dude, he was
In like a ladder in like 5 minutes.
He fucking enjoys it.
Yeah.
Dude.
Was I? We did it together. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, strong as shit. I mean, in terms of
I'm
Olympic
blacked out.
lifting, I think the ability. I think you're
I
so
mean, your
high as
thighs are
shit.
like 4 inches
you're
wider
strong.
than mine.
You're
Well, for
strong.
weightlifting, I've only been doing this for about 2 years now.
Right.
Whereas like my clients will tell me like certain things, like they hit a certain lift and they're like, well, I don't really need to go that high. Like they compare themselves to me. I'm like, I'm 28, yes, and you're in, let's say, your 30s, your 40s, but I've been training longer than you. You
Send
just
them a
started
clip of
doing
like a
this.
masters athlete and be like,
That's
I'm
what
like,
that's
that's
what
what I
I'm
want to
actually
be.
training to be a master.
I'm training for the 40s.
Staying under the radar
Yeah,
until you're
right.
like 50.
You
and then
wait.
crush it.
Give me 2030. You wait.
2040. Who live for president? Just saying.
All right,
Donald Trump has his way, you'll be
All
out.
right. So
We've been in it for a while. Let me just plan on it.
minutes.
So the Fitness League 5, right? That's what we are.
Bam.
Yeah.
Although
So
we're just a fitness league.
pulling tenements of different aspects of fitness. to
No,
help-
sad word.
Yeah.
Tenements.
Tenements. I don't even know
No.
if I'm saying it right.
You're not. Whatever, man.
Cinnamon. That's pronounced
Pulling
the
cinnamon
cinnamon of fitness.
from 5 different aspects
Cinnamon.
of fitness.
Fitness
Yeah.
digging your move.
And I mean,
That just
Sorry.
happened.
That's the next one.
That's our what?
That's the next website that we do.
Oh, yeah.
We
369.
already have
There's too many websites.
dancing. We got these two playing baseball.
Slow.
Side by side.
What?
Wait, you weren't talking about the other? We're talking about real baseball?
No, I was talking about that, but I think you'd actually show the camera what's up.
Oh, that's a pitching machine.
what's up?
We're gonna cut this.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you for subscribing.
I don't ever wrap up.
Subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow
what's
us
the
on
training?
Instagram and on Facebook. Fitness League 5 is our hashtag. What's our thing, right?
More
Fitness
more
League
fitness
At
at
Fitness
Fitness League 5.
Hashtag more fitness.
At Fitness League 5.
Peace.